I never wanted to move back to my childhood home in rural Pennsylvania. When Mom died, the house went to me by default. Dad had vanished when I was 8, and I never had siblings. The last time I saw him, he stood at the basement door, whispering something I couldn't hear, before slowly walking down the stairs. He never came back up. Everyone said he just ran off. Abandoned us. But I always had this gnawing sense that something else happened to him. Something no one wanted to talk about. Now, at 29, I was back. For closure. The two-story house was surrounded by woods. Isolated. The kind of place where cell service flickered and the nearest neighbor was a quarter-mile away. The paint on the siding peeled like dead skin, and the screen door still creaked when you opened it, just like I remembered. Inside, everything was as Mom left it. Faded floral wallpaper, a dusty piano no one touched for years, and that same peculiar cold draft that crept from the basement. I should have left it alone. But that first night, I heard the whispering. It was almost midnight. I was lying on the living room couch, still too tired to unpack the bedroom. That's when I heard it, soft murmurs, almost like a conversation, coming from beneath me. From the basement. I sat up. Held my breath. The house was quiet again. Then came the knock. 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 3 distinct, deliberate raps, like knuckles on wood, echoed up from the basement door. I froze. My heart hammered in my chest. The door to the basement was just across the room. Closed. I told myself it was the pipes. Or the house settling. Anything but what I felt, that something was down there. Watching. Still, curiosity gnawed at me. I stood, slowly walked over, and placed my hand on the doorknob. Ice cold. I turned it. The door creaked open an inch. The whispering stopped. The basement stretched down in absolute darkness. I shut the door again. Locked it. And told myself I'd deal with it in the morning. Morning came. The sun turned everything harmless again. I convinced myself I was imagining things. Stress, maybe. Too many memories. But that night, it happened again. Whispers. Knocking. And this time, footsteps. I swear, I heard someone walking slowly across the basement floor. Then the sound of something being dragged. I barely slept. The next day, I went into town and bought a heavy-duty flashlight. That evening, before the sun set, I opened the basement door. The light switch didn't work. Figures. I stood there, shining my flashlight down the stairs. Dust danced in the beam like ash. The air smelled like mildew, rust, and something else, like wet earth and old meat. Step by step, I descended. The basement hadn't changed much. Same concrete floor. Same wooden shelves. Same rusted water heater. But something was wrong. There were scratches on the walls. Deep gouges, like someone had clawed at the stone with fingernails or worse. And then I saw it. A small wooden door in the far wall. I never remembered that being there. It was low, barely chest height, and bolted shut. Carved into the wood were strange symbols, like something out of a dream. Or a nightmare. And below them, scrawled in dark, flaking paint. Do not open. I stared at it for a long time. Something moved behind me. I turned fast, heart pounding. Nothing. Just shadows. I backed up the stairs, not daring to turn my back. I locked the basement door behind me and piled 2 chairs in front of it. Just in case. That night, I didn't sleep at all. The whispering was louder now. Clearer. I could almost make out words. Names. Mine. And around 3:12 a.m., I heard the sound that froze my blood. The creak of the basement door opening. But I'd locked it. I didn't sleep that night. After what happened in the basement, the knocking, the voices, the door, I just drove. I didn't know where. I just kept going. I stopped only when I ran out of gas. A lonely rest stop off a dark highway. I reclined my seat and tried to catch my breath. And then it happened. 3:12 a.m. Knock. 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 3 distinct knocks, but not on the door. They came from the trunk. I stared at the rearview mirror for a full minute before I moved. Then I climbed out and popped it open. Inside, my bag had been torn open. My clothes were covered in dirt. And sitting right on top, clean and untouched, was the notebook. My father's journal. The one I had left in the basement. It had followed me. I slept with the lights on in a cheap motel the next night. At exactly 3:12 a.m., the knocking returned. This time on the motel window. I didn't open the curtains. Instead, I opened the notebook. There was a new page, written in the same shaky hand as before. You moved, but the door didn't. It's still open. You're still inside. That was when I realized I hadn't left the house at all. It had come with me. The dreams got worse. In them, I was back in the basement. The wooden door was open wider each night. I could hear whispering coming from the tunnel beyond it. Voices I knew. My mother's. My own. And always his. My father's voice. Eli, you need to come back. You need to finish what I started. I woke up drenched in sweat. Heart pounding. Hands dirty. Fingernails packed with soil. I had been digging in my sleep. 3 days later, I gave up. I went back to the house. It greeted me like it never forgot me. Like it had just been waiting. The front door creaked open on its own. The basement door, too. No locks. No chains. Just that cold, familiar pull. Down I went. The flashlight flickered, but I kept going. At the bottom, the wooden door was open. No hesitation this time. I stepped through. The tunnel was longer now. Wider. Deeper. Breathing. The walls were covered in old photos, my childhood, birthdays, school, even things I didn't remember living through. It knew everything. And then, just ahead in the dark, I saw someone standing. My father. He looked the same as the day he vanished. Just older. Tired. You came, he said. I had to. He gave a sad smile. You still have a chance to leave. I shook my head. Not anymore. We walked together in silence. Until we reached the end of the tunnel, a pit of pulsing black roots and shadows. The air was thick. Electric. Whispering. I pulled out the vial of blood I'd brought. I didn't know why, only that the notebook had said. Seal it with memory. Seal it with blood. I poured the blood into the pit. The shadows began to thrash. The walls shook. Then something rose from the darkness. A creature. Tall. Twisted. Faceless. Its arms dragged across the ground. Its skin rippled like smoke. It didn't walk. It crawled. My father stepped in front of me. It remembers me, he said. But it wants you. I tried to grab him. We can both go. We can both end this. He looked at me, eyes heavy with sorrow. No. One of us has to stay. Then he turned toward the creature and walked straight into its grasp. The shadows swallowed him whole. And then, light. Blinding, searing light. And silence. I woke at the top of the stairs. The basement was still. The door was gone. Just smooth, unbroken wall. No tunnel. No whispers. Just peace. That was 6 days ago. Since then, nothing strange has happened. No dreams. No knocking. No signs. Until last night, when I found something on the porch. A scrap of paper, torn from the notebook. 2 words. Written in shaky handwriting. Thank you. I stood there a long time, holding that note. I don't know if it was real. I don't know if he's really gone. Or if the thing just went back to sleep. But every night now, just before 3:12 a.m., I listen. And I wait. Because I know that somewhere, deep beneath that house, something is still breathing.